Hey Jenny, it's me. Just a couple of things. One, I just want to point out, I'm in Dropbox in your under Assistant Dr. Kale. You should see there then neurofeedback QEEG intake documents. So this has the financial policy and the instructions for the night before. My suggestion is I suspect you have a template email. I would save that template email in there. And then, if we pull together perhaps an introduction document, uh, perhaps some of the fundamental research summaries we might be sending out, we could have all of those in there. Um, like with the intake letter, I think we just need a good overview. Sometimes we would send us an overview of the research, kind of where things are at with neurofeedback. And so I don't have a good example of that. I don't have an abbreviated version, but it might be something like Tom Grande is a person, Tom and Jackie, their son Mickey. They sent me an email. They definitely want to do a map. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this. And then I have the email set up that I'm sending to you right now. And then I'm going to say, please see this short video. Okay, cool. Um, let's see what's next. By the way, once this video is done, I'm going to also put clients on here. I'm going to make mention of a couple of things. Like Jared indicated that wants the vigilance session next week. Going down the list here, Brian Brocky, oh my, he got arrested. Since his other arrest, here he is arrested again, caught with illegal drugs, speeding 21 miles an hour over the speed limit. So there's, they want him to get in. So try to get him in ASAP. I don't know what can be done. So Olivia, I would check for 2 weeks phone appointment. I don't know if you got my message, but that couple, how does she pronounce her? Métis, or I forget. Métis, hey Métis, how are you, Métis? Boyfriend Matt, in 2 weeks, you may not hear back from them. It's a pretty desperate situation. Ebert's mom, dad for joint session without Gavin. Patrick Gould map. Where'd he go? Remember, he came in, tried to do a map. He's all sweaty. He couldn't get any good data. Maria Hahn, the intake above. It's H-A, yeah, H-A-H-N. I had advised her to do individual sessions with me weekly. She needs it. She may economically not be able to afford it, but you want to check in with her because she will speak to hubby. Bobby Joe, and I think we need to, maybe if you speak with her, she wants me to do the school thing. I think I would just say to her something like, Bobby Joe, help me understand, because you respond to emails. You've got text and email reminders that are basically saying Dr. Kale's going to be sitting there waiting for you. And, you know, just help me understand why we didn't get a response from you. Something like that. Um, see if she just will own some part of this. Um, Nicole Kinney, I don't think we'll hear from her as that debt goes down. Carrie, schedule ASAP. Karen, okay. Karen, talk to her when she comes in. Support, reinforce, good. Hang in there till we get home trainer. Now, she may say her husband said he's not going to do it, but I know George. George will do it in a heartbeat. So she just needs to get confirmation. Paulina, 1 to 2 weeks. They're working on their schedule, which will solidify. Now, Paulina's school, which was, I think this was Mater Christie. It has a new principal, and so I'm going to reach out to try to do a talk there. Remember last year they did it on the same day that they had this whole outdoor thing going on, and everybody just finished up and went home. So that's not going to happen. But it's a pretty good school, and we got big support because Tony's like a cheerleader for our practice, so that's good. Gwen in activate. I just will be watching my tires, make sure nothing happens there. Chris's schedule. Jackie Scotty. She's on vacation next week, but the week after. She's now committed to regular. Carissa, yeah, get her in. There's a lot of contact here. I see. I'm just going down through the list. I hope this is helpful. Amanda, she wants in Amanda and Tim. They're committed. Schedule weekly if you can, but definitely next week. Rhea, I see Rhea Walsh. How did she did say to me, I said, she said, I'm in Wednesday or something, and I confirmed it, but I just confirmed it, assuming that you were here and there was an appointment. It was, boy, it's a good lesson to learn. I think I'll always be saying, let's check the schedule, check with Jenny. But that's on me. So I saw the frustration in her eyes, and I get it. And I was consumed in the phone call, and so she didn't get an adequate apology from me. So I'll make sure I take care of that. I think Kayla Wells, from what you said, and April White, they're both. I see April's in for October 1. Kayla, make sure. So she needs scheduled for NFB, and then Kayla, I think I'd said to this, will fill her out if she wants appointments. So I won't bill her right away. But yeah, she could benefit. That's fine. Okay. I think that's it. The rest of them, as I went down the list, indicated they were scheduled. All right, that's quite a list. Now, I just want to show you again about when people want a statement, what's involved. So I'm going to uh, pick, let's get rid of that. So let's see somebody who probably hasn't asked for it. So Dan. So Dan wants a statement. First you go to billing and then determine what the date range is. Now, if you're going to put in a custom range, you have to actually, you could come down here and you start typing in and you think you're good and it will not apply. You have to actually hit custom range. Once you hit custom range, you could do, let's see, I don't know. You can do anything you want. So we do, 614 to 908, 614 to 918. I apply that. We see all of his sessions. I did bill him the full amount on his card because he was pushing it. So um, what we now have to do is go back with his sessions. He's going to be at $100 per session based on what the 6,000 is. But now we have that in the in our billing. So we just got to go back and change his neurofeedback to billable sessions at 100 and work down that balance because it shows he has a credit of 6,000. So that's the first thing. So just to demo how that would happen, I'm going to go back. Let's see I'm just going to pick one example. So please remember this example. Here's Dan at 5:15 on Monday the 9th. So I click here. I'm going to put him as an appointment. Try to adjust this so I can see it. And then we have, I guess this must be it. Did I change it to biofeedback? Oh, I must put that in for, so yeah, so the 60 session package should come out to 100, right? So we didn't put that in. I put it in. Boom. Now the time, it's off a little bit there, but I think I would for the at least the initial thrust, I'd leave both of these so that when you look back over time, anytime you're seeing neurofeedback, say in the next couple of weeks once we get all these done, it should always show up as a double thing like that. And if it's only a single, it means we haven't got the billing set up correctly in the program. So anyway, that's the way we'd set up the billing. If Dan were to say, geez, I'd like a statement, because he's going to send it to insurance, which is usually why they're looking for a statement. Not always. There are some exceptions, but we'll say typically they're looking for a statement. So first we choose the date range. So let's say I'll just do an example. Last month, and I'm going to create a super bell. Now what's going to happen, I'm going to go ahead and create it, and you're going to see it. And it's not going to have the diagnostic code. See, it doesn't have it here. So that won't serve somebody who wants it for insurance purposes. So I'm going to delete that. And here's the secret juice. So you go back to overview, and we go back and we find his first session, May 20th, 5 p.m. The session was May 21 at 7 p.m. So we go in here, we create a diagnosis and new treatment plan. It's that F3, 4, no, F4, 3. So we typically use F43.23, very safe. Pick that, The only other thing you got to do then is pick the date, which was back in May 21 at 7 p.m. Oddly, yet it seems to be important to get fairly close on the time. So 7 p.m. Here's You don't do anything else. The diagnosis, unless I say otherwise, it's always going to be this because it's a generic safe diagnosis. And the date. The date would be the first day they come in. So now I'm going to go back to billing. I've got this month. I'm going to create a super bill for that, whatever the time frame is. And now you see it has the diagnosis code, and it is DX1, refers to DX1. There's the diagnosis. Always should end up having my NPI, National Provider Number, Tax ID number, the client name, and we don't worry about putting in there. If they ever say put in our insurance, you say no, that's for you to do. So that's it. I'm going to delete that since I don't want it to go out to him because he'll be thinking, what's going on? If somebody were to want some other kind of, say they just want a statement, an invoice is what's created. Don't worry, don't do invoices, but statements sometimes can be useful. But the thing with statements is you usually want to try to create a statement for the year because it's the only way the previous balance and all sort of adds up. So it shows an uninvoiced $100 session, right? So we'll ignore that, but we should look at the bottom and we see that the payment after 8/17, his balance was zero. I then put in his credit card. He has a $6,000 credit. So then month by month, is when we work down the balance, it'll be easy to see as he approaches zero. And also, as the clients, they can log into their portal. We can send them a statement. They'll be able to see what their balance is. Alrighty. Now, finally, I think you had mentioned you'd be willing to, like you used to do this at some role, sort through candidates. Holy mackerel, I'm overwhelmed with, and just trying to decide who's worthy of time, because the choices are between youth with some relevant educational experience, but little real life experience. Some folks who have a little more experience in real life, and perhaps a bit more educational involvement. And then those who have some good life experience, but no history of anything related to the neurosciences or psychology. Some of them were psychology. So yeah. So if you're willing, I don't know. So let me know if you're willing, because I'm just with what else I have to do this weekend, and I want to get through these folks. And you have to do this apply date twice to go back to forward. And some of these people. Let me just give you a quick background here. So when they apply, they're invited to take a little survey, so a cognitive ability survey. And so, I want to see, did they take the time to take it? Because one of the disqualifiers, if they didn't take the time to go through what is a 10-minute survey, I think they're out. Secondly, it's not that proximate to the type of tasks that we do, but somebody who took, how long did it take? They took 19 minutes and they ended up with a sort of average-ish score, right? 19 minutes is pretty slow on this thing. Yeah, it's different sets of shapes. See, so it could be too heavily biased toward visual processing. But I would certainly be looking, like one of the things I would do is look at that and say, well, are there other things that override it? Um, you know, she's a health aide, was an attendance clerk, a teacher's aide. So she's teacher-ish, school counselor, MA, school counseling. At least she wrote something, but I don't know. I don't have the sense that she's going to be like that. Wouldn't be somebody I would put on my list. Let's put it that way. I would X her off, and I don't need a reason. But um, there's got to be a better way to do this apply date thing. Uh, anyway, if you don't mind, and so for me, the criteria is going to be at least they took the time to complete that little survey. They completed it, and see, she didn't even. I don't know. I mean, was she sleeping? I don't know. She's got a Master of Arts in interpersonal, and she graduated magna cum laude for BA and her master. So I assume she didn't give it much out. She must have just stepped out of it or something. I don't know. But anyway, they complete the survey. They, preferably they write something. If they didn't, their resume strongly suggests this would be a good candidate. And you know what it takes now. It's somebody who's got to be somewhat of a people person. You've got to be sharp, and they've got to be willing to learn. And there's some manual dexterity, software competency issues that'll be important. So, as I think of someone who's kind of been in a teacher-ish position, I have a bias of compared to some of these technician-ish positions where they're involved in software, they're making decisions, they're active. But anyway, I'm just trying to give you a sense of what I would be thinking of as you go through it. But if you're willing to sort these, and you'll see you get to check them and make comments. So if you check somebody, uh, um, handheld devices, here's Douglas. He just applied today, yesterday. Didn't do the cognitive ability piece. His resume is pretty, just didn't put much time into it. Might be an interesting guy, but bye bye. But I was hoping to give you an example of some of these folks here. Now, dental hygienist, interestingly, that to me is interesting because somebody who's used to moving from client to client, they don't have an issue with body stuff, touching somebody's body and handling them. But it says completed, and the score is not even hitting familiar. So 10 minutes. Um, you can see the medium is 12. So they went through it quickly. It didn't even score like, I don't know. It's on a, it seems to take her out of the running. But the technician, you could see why he might be thinking, geez, that would be somebody who might be a good fit for us. Um, Insurance agents, medical scribe. By the way, somehow they pick out one part of their training that shows up. I guess it's maybe when you apply, you can pick the most relevant part. So there's a cognitive ability, highly proficient. Okay, that puts her in the running. Nursing and PT assistant. So used to moving from people to people, no problems with handling the body, have hands on. She's how old? Her BA in human biology, chemistry, biology, ethics, 16. She's what, 25, 26? I wish she'd done a letter. might be in the running. So I would kind of put it on a possible, no, no letter or comments. Which, and again, my thought process is, uh, geez, take a minute if you're really that interested. So I'm kind of walking you through my criteria. If you have other thoughts, great. But I'd love to end up with a list of 20, uh, 25 maybe. You'll see I've got probably what I have 13 reviewed and only 3 that I'm contacting off. That's not really accurate. I don't know why. Maybe there's some other way I can use to reach out, but it's at least 5 or 6. So this person's okay, enough. So I think I've covered mine. Hopefully this is all helpful, and I will shut up and stop boring you. Thank you for your patience. Bye.